So what was the first question that I gave you?
Even odd.
Even odd.
Even and odd number. So we all know that what are even numbers and what are odd numbers. But we have some students who don't belong to CSE and IT branch. Okay. So they don't know how to apply that logic into programming. We know that if a number is completely divisible by 0, then it is an even number. And if it doesn't get divided by 2, that means it is an odd number. But how to put this logic into programming, that is a challenge. So let's understand. So this is the program for checking whether the entered number is even or not. Now this program can be written in two ways. One way is you pass the parameter, you pass the number within the program and check whether this number is even or odd number. But that is just one case. For example, I enter number 4 and I'm checking in the program whether 4 is an even number or odd number. But every time I will be running this program, it will always check only one number 4. So is it a good program or bad program?
Bad program.
It's a bad quality program. If you are a programmer, the development of a good developer should be in such a way that it will apply for a lot of number of inputs. So you should be making your program very generic. Your program should be very general so that all types of inputs are accepted and can be checked, and we can get the output for each type of input. But if you have created a very specific program only for testing one number, that you are a dirty programmer. You want to be a dirty programmer or good programmer?
Good one, ma'am.
Good.
Good. Yes. So what we can do is we can try to take an input from the user. The user will enter the input and then we will test whether the entered number is even or odd. How to take input from the user. So this concept was very easy in C language and C++ language. But here it is little difficult. So let's see what we have to do. Here we have one package. The name of the package is util. Name of the package is util. Now inside this util package, we have one class called as scanner class. How this is a class? Because it is starting with a capital letter. Anything in Java programming language is starting with a capital letter, that means it is a class. So I am using this package. For using any package, you have to use import statement. So this is the import statement. Do you remember, if you are coming from C and C++ programming background, then we used to write hash include stdio.h. So we used to we used to include libraries so that whatever is declared in that library we can use in our program. So I am interested in using a class called as scanner, which is used for taking input from the user. So what I will do, I will import the package in which the scanner class is existing. And in order to import the package, you have to write import statement before writing the program. For importing any package, you have to write fully qualified name. Fully qualified name. See, your name can be Sahil, but what is written in your 10th passing certificate? That is your fully qualified name. Sahil Nitin Kamble. That is your fully qualified name. So anytime when you will get job or any professional thing is going to happen, we will be calling you Sahil or your with your qualified name, fully qualified name.
Qualified name.
Okay, so if for every official purpose, we use fully qualified name. Same is the case with Java programming language. Whenever you are using a package, you have to specify fully qualified name. So I want to use scanner class and I will write this statement: import java.util.scanner semicolon. then the compiler will get to know that, okay, this great developer is going to use scanner class. No problem. I won't be generating any error if I encounter scanner class. Can you see? It highlighted also. Compiler understood. So what happens is, have you seen your mother in kitchen? What she will do? If she is cooking, she will take one spice box. Inside that spice box, all types of spices are kept together. So if she is making any curry, instead of taking every spice individually, she will just take out her spice box. She will open it. She will use all the spices that are required for that curry. She will close it and she will keep it again. Second way is, if she is making one curry, she will take spice number 1, spice number 2, spice number 10 individually and put it in the curry. Which one is easier?
Individually.
First one.
Okay, so first one is easier. Maintaining a spice box. In one package, you are keeping all the spices. Similarly, in Java also we have packages. In one package, we will be keeping all the classes and interfaces. And we can identify those related classes and interfaces by the package name. Your mother is not going to keep chocolates inside that spice box. It's a spice box. The spice box is a package. In that package, only spices will be there. Some other independent item won't be allowed to store in that spice box. So we will learn more about the packages in later classes. Now I want to create a class because in Java, every program will be written inside the class. So name of the class is even and odd. This is a good practice if you start your class name with a capital letter. Next, every class will have some main function. So I will write my main method here. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes,
Especially-
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, I am speaking in so much detail so that the students who are coming from different branch should also feel comfortable. So those students who are new to Java, if you are facing any difficulty, just stop me and ask me. Now, I want to take an input of a number from the user. So I have to declare that number because I told you Java is a strongly typed language. What I told you? Java is a strongly typed language. So if it is a strongly typed language and you are accepting one input from the user, that number should have somewhere. So here is where we are declaring that number, int num. Integer data type, name of the number, num. Your choice, any valid identifier you can keep. Next, I am printing one message, system.out.println, enter an number. Okay, because I am asking the user to enter the number. So for output, for printing output, we are using system.out.print and we are asking for the user to enter any number. Now, how that number will be accepted? So what I will do, I will use object of the scanner class. What I will use? Object of the scanner class. Now, yesterday I told you how to create object, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me how to create
Yes,
object.
ma'am.
Using new keyword.
Using new operator. Okay, so scanner is the name of the class. Here we will specify some name to the object. So the object name is input is equal to new operator and constructor of scanner class. And inside the constructor, I am writing system.in. This statement we are using in order to read the input from the keyword. To read the input from keyboard. Okay, system.in. This we are using in order to read the input entered through the keyboard. Next, now the user has entered something that has to be stored in this number which we have declared. It has to be entered in the number which we have declared. So what I will do? For that, I will use one method which is present in scanner class. And the name of the method is nextInt. Now tell me, if I have a class and I have a method inside that class, how can I access that method?
Using
Dot
object.
operator.
Object and
Using
dot
object.
operator. Very good. So yesterday we discussed that if we have some members inside the class, we cannot access them directly. We should have object of that class in order to access the members. So what is the object of scan created?
Input.
Input.
So I will write input dot nextInt. So what nextInt method will do? This method will read from the keyboard whatever value was taken, that it will enter and it will set in this variable num. Okay, this is how we take input entry from the user. Now the method for accepting float, double, character, all these data types is different in Java. Here I am accepting only integer. That's why I am using nextInt. If you are accepting float, you will be having nextFloat method. Okay. So during the course of program writing, we will understand what are the different types of methods used for taking the input. Here in this program, we are using integer value. So I am telling you how to take integer input. Is it clear till this point? Anyone
Yes, ma'am.
having any doubt till line number 11? Please
Yes, ma'am.
unmute and speak.
Ma'am, please repeat again. 1 second.
Which one?
11 number, ma'am. Input.
Which one?
11 number, ma'am.
Yes, who is asking?
Ma'am, Vishal. Number 11, ma'am. Method.
Okay. So we have created a variable num. Now we have to enter the value that has been entered from the keyboard to this variable. So what I will do, I will write num and I will assign that entered value. How to assign that entered value? Using a method which is part of scanner class. So if we have any class and we want to access any data member of that class, because nextInt method is part of scanner class. So what we will do, we will use the object of scanner class. What is the object of scanner class, Vishal?
Object of input, ma'am.
Input. So I will write input dot method name. The name of the method is nextInt. So this nextInt method will read the entered value from the keyword and it will put it into this variable num, which we declared here. Vishal, you were present in yesterday's session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I hope you understood now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Next, this is done.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, after new keyword we use constructor name, right?
Yes.
So here we have written scanner. So ma'am, can you explain me?
So scanner is the name of the class, no? So constructor name and class name will be same. If the class name is scanner, the constructor name will also be scanner.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what happened? The entered value, whatever the user has entered, 27, 79, 81, 56, 101, 1001, any value has been entered in this num variable. Now you can apply your logic. What is even number? A number which is when divided by 2, it should give 0 remainder. The remainder should be 0, then only it will be considered as even. So for testing the value of remainder, we will be using modulo operator. Okay, so I am writing num modulo 2 is equal to 0. If it is true, then system.out.println even. Else system.out.println odd. Any doubt in this program? Any doubt in this program? Siddha.
No, ma'am.
Siddha, did you
No, ma'am.
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So special care has to be taken by some students who are out of touch for program, because electrical students are warriors. They are studying very difficult things. Transistor, antennas, very dangerous subjects they have. And programming is very easy. Okay, programming is very easy. This antenna and all those things are very difficult. So they have to take out some time from their busy schedule and focus on programming. So if they can understand their electrical subjects, then CSE subjects are nothing in front of electrical subjects. Same goes for other branches also. The easiest branch is CSE and IT. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So I entered one number 1570 and it is saying that it is an even number. Let me enter some odd number also. I entered a number 1571 and it is saying it is an odd number. That means my program is working fine. Now if I ask you that now you know how to, yes, mute yourselves. Now I know, now I told you how to accept input from the user. Now you tell me how to calculate the area of rectangle. So can you do it now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can do it now. I will show you the program. Just have a look. Okay, I am not explaining it line for line. We will proceed with the session. Just your assign, for the sake of your assignment, I am showing you. Can you see? Same way. We are creating a class. We are importing scanner class. We are defining main method. The main method, we are accepting the input and we are calculating the area. So area of rectangle is length into breadth. I am multiplying the two values. This is how we use multiplication operator, line number 17. And then we are printing. If you want to take photograph, please take photograph or screenshot of the screen. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move on to discuss about flow control statements. So what are flow control statements? Anything that changes the flow of execution of the program. So by default, I told you that any Java program will execute in sequential order, line by line. By nature, every Java program will execute sequentially. But if you want to modify the change of the flow, okay, if you want to alter the flow of the execution, for that you can use some flow control statements. And this you have studied in your previous programming languages also. If else, switch case, while loop, for loop, break, continue, all are part of flow control statements that we already know, but some add-ons are there in Java programming language. For the sake of understanding those add-ons, I will draw a classification tree in front of you, that how the flow control statements have been classified. Okay? So just observe the screen and note down in your notebooks also. Flow control. Forgive my laptop. Okay, so these are the flow control statements. How many categories do we have? We have 3 categories. How many?
3.
3.
Number 1 is selection statements. Number 1 is selection statements.
Ma'am, screen is not visible, I think.
Yes, ma'am. The program screen is
Stuck
visible.
in the program, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. Okay, okay. Thank you for telling me. Just 1 second. Now is it visible?
Ma'am, the screen went off. Yeah, it is visible now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It is visible.
Okay. So the first category is selection statements. Okay. Keep drawing in your notebooks also. How many of you are maintaining dedicated notebooks? This is for newcomers. You have to maintain a dedicated notebook for Java, and I will discuss some interview-based questions that also you have to write in those notebooks for the sake of easy revision. 2 days before interview, you can take your notebook and you can revise everything. Your life will become easy. Control transfer statements. Okay, so these are the 3 categories that we have. Okay, one is selection statements, one is iterative statements, and one is control transfer statements. Okay, under these 3 categories, we have further division also. Let's understand the further division. We have if-else statement, and we have switch. Okay, so when I say if-else, that means we have if, we have if-else, we have if-else if, and we have nested if, all the 4 categories. Okay, so just to keep it very simple, instead of writing all those 4 commands, I am writing only if-else. So these are called as selection statements, or sometimes in some books you will find decision-making statements also. Because based on the decision, the part of the program will be executing. Then iterative statements, or we can say loop statements, are also of different types. While loop, do while, for loop, and one more add-on here is for each. So for each loop was not there in previous programming languages, but in Java it is there, for each. Clear? Then come to transfer statements. Here, break, continue, return, and try, catch, finally. This is also one type of transfer statement. So can you see the complete classification tree, how beautiful it is looking?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Note it down in your notebooks. One
Yes,
more.
ma'am.
one add-on is there in Java. We call it as assert statement. So what will happen? 100 students coming for interview. 100 students will say, we have these statements. But if you go to that interview and if you will add on some extra statements in the answer, then who will be preferred? You or them?
We.
Yes.
We, ma'am.
Yes. So always your answer should be little different from others who will come for interview. Observe this diagram for 1 minute, all of you. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first category of selection statements is when we have some selection to be made. Some selection has to be done from the part of code. That means if the condition that we are specifying is true, then this part of code should be selected for execution. And if the condition specified is false, then the other part of the code should be executed. Okay. So some part we keep in if body and some of the part we keep in the else body. Okay. So that complete boring thing that you all know, what is the syntax of if and all those things, I am really not interested in discussing, but just I will give one overview and then we will start solving the types of questions you can get in the exam. Okay, so if I say what is the syntax of if, then we know that we have something called if keyword. If keyword is there, and then there is some action specified by some statements. Okay, so here you will specify the action. That means if the condition is true, some condition you will specify here in round brackets. If this condition is true, then this action should be done. Okay, else another action has to be done. So if you study, if you work hard, you will get selected in Capgemini. Else you won't. Right? Now, the thing is, what you have to keep in mind when you are working on Java platform is that the condition that we are specifying inside the if should be what? Should be Boolean. Should be Boolean. Now remember, in C++ or C, what used to happen? Even if some integer value is there, 0 or 1, we used to think that 0 means false, 1 means true, and if it is true, the control will go into the body of if. Do you remember? Those who have worked on C++ and C?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone who is from C and C++ background, what used to happen there? If you are entering 0, 1 also inside this if condition, the compiler never used to object. Compiler was very stupid. We used to make fool of that compiler. Why? Because True means 1, false means 0. So if we pass 0 and 1, the compiler was so stupid that he could never differentiate between true, false and 0, 1. But this is not the case with Java compiler. Java compiler is very smart. What it is saying, that you have to pass only Boolean variable. The type of the variable inside the if should be Boolean type. And if we are trying to provide any other type, then there will be compile time error. Why it is compile time error? Because we are committing some mistake in the syntax of the program. And the syntax related issues are reported by the compiler. Am I clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will write some piece of code. Will you answer the output for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This concept is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we proceed
Yes.
towards programming?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you. So let's proceed towards programming. I will take one blank class. This is blank. Okay, I will be writing some statements and you have to answer the output for me. Int x is equal to 0. Now I am writing if else selection statement in the program. So how to apply if else inside a program, please learn. If x dot out dot println. System dot out dot println. Let's print some message. Good morning. Okay. Else let's print one more message. System dot out dot println. Good evening. So what I am trying to do in this program is, I have one class named as day1. I have the main method. Inside the main method, I have declared one variable x and I have initialized it with 0. Then I am passing x into if condition. If x, then action has to be taken is print good morning. Else action that has to be taken is good evening. Now, what do you think? What should be the answer?
Error.
Good evening.
Error, ma'am.
Error.
Error.
Okay. Why? Because just now I told you that the Boolean type variable should be passed in if condition. But x, what is x? What is the type of x?
Int.
Integer.
Int.
Integer.
So it will say that expected Boolean, but you are giving integer because Java compiler is not stupid. Okay, so what it is saying, cannot convert from int to Boolean. Clear? Incompatible types. Now, done. This one is clear to everyone, right? Can we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So don't think that it is C++ and 0 means false and it will print good evening. It's not like that. Now next, int x is equal to 10. Int x is equal to 10. And then what I am trying to do is, I will go inside if and I will write one expression, x is equal to 100. What I am trying to do is, I initialize the value with int x is equal to 10. Inside the if, I am doing this operation. What is this operation? Can anybody tell me?
Comparison.
No, operation. I am not asking the error.
Assignment.
Assignment operation.
Assignment.
Equal to. Single equal to is assignment. And if it is double equal to, then it will be comparing the values.
Comparison.
Okay. Single, please note down in your notebooks. Single equal to means assignment. Double equal to means comparison. So here we are assigning or we are comparing?
Assigning.
Then if we are assigning also, that assigned value is also integer. Then if I run it, what will happen? Compiler again will say you are a fool. We cannot convert from int to boolean. You are a fool. You are passing some integer value inside if condition, but I will check that condition only if you pass a boolean variable. Clear? Assignment operation is not possible. Now tell me, if I write if x is equal to 100, then is it assignment or comparison?
Comparison.
This is comparison.
Comparison, ma'am.
So if I compare the value of x, what is the value of x?
10.
10.
10, ma'am.
And we are comparing it with 100.
100.
So is 10 equal to 100?
No.
No means
False.
no means false.
False.
Whenever, all of you please mute yourselves. So whenever we are using comparison operator, the response will come in the form of true or false. And true or false means boolean. Then what would be the output, you tell me?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Okay.
evening.
So when
Good evening.
this statement will be evaluated, it will reply to the compiler that it is false. Then compiler will think, okay, you are passing some boolean value inside if condition. Then it will execute the else part. If it is true, then it will execute. If I make it 10, then it will execute the first part. But I kept it 100. So it's a false. False means it will the control of the program from this statement, the control of the program will come and check this statement, and the condition is false. It will not enter this body of if. It will directly come to this statement, 13 statement. Let's run. Good evening. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So such kind of questions can come in your MCQ based exam. You should be ready with such questions. Let's give one more try. Boolean b is equal to true. Okay. Boolean b is equal to true. If b, what should execute?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. If b, then it should execute good morning. Now if I make this an expression like this, is it valid?
No, ma'am.
All of
No,
you
ma'am.
please, observe the program and tell me whether this kind of expression is valid inside if condition or not. I will have my photo.
Yes, ma'am.
30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds, just observe. Yes. What is your take on this program?
Yes,
Valid.
Valid, ma'am. It is valid.
Valid.
How many of you say that it's valid? Raise your hands. 15 students are saying, 14 students are saying that it's a valid code, while others are saying that it is invalid. Okay. Let's see. It is completely fine. Okay, we can if it is a Boolean variable. Are you getting my point? This piece of code, the assignment that we were doing was integer type assignment. We are assigning some value, integer value to integer type variable. But here we are assigning integer Boolean value to a Boolean variable. So what part of code will execute? If or else?
Else.
Else.
Else, ma'am.
So it will say good evening. It will say good evening. So that is completely fine. So you observe that we executed 4 pieces of code and we understood that the if condition has to be a Boolean type, nothing else. Shall we move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, in this syntax, okay, in this syntax, else is mandatory part or it is optional part?
Optional.
So if I write
Mandatory.
if I write if and I don't write else, then again compiler is fine. Do you want to say that?
No.
So half of you are saying that it is mandatory and some are saying it is optional. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So else part is optional. Okay. Please note down in your notebooks if you want. Else part in the if else statement is optional. It is not mandatory. This is optional, not mandatory. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, curly braces. These curly braces are mandatory or optional? This
Optional.
one.
Optional.
For
you
single
sure?
statement, optional, ma'am. For single statement.
For single statement optional and for others?
For others, it is mandatory.
Mandatory, ma'am.
Okay. So that single statement, is there any exception in that single statement also? Okay, let's understand by writing some piece of code. Some small programs I will write and you will tell me the answer. Okay. So I am writing if this is not required. I am writing if true, then system dot out dot println system dot out dot println hello. Hello batch 04. Okay, hello batch M04. Will it execute or not?
No.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I told you that else part is optional. So I am not
Yes.
writing else part. Okay, so compiler will say, okay, that is allowed for you. You can write if, and if you don't write else also, that is fine with me. So no error from else part. Then I am not using curly braces also. I am not using curly braces also. So what it will do is, it will execute and it will write hello batch M04. Okay. So that means it is a valid code. We can skip else part also and we can skip curly braces also. Next,
मैम
yes.
मैम इन दिस कोड में अभी आपने इफ लिया है ना, दूसरा कोई स्टेटमेंट नहीं, तो ये जो सीसा जो अपना प्रिंट हुआ है वो बस सिस्टम और प्रिंट लाइन की वजह से प्रिंट हुआ होगा ना, इसका और इफ स्टेटमेंट का कोई कनेक्शन नहीं होगा ना। अगर प्रोग्राम में अगर ऐसे लेंगे तो रन होएगा।
Okay, that means you are saying that अगर मैं इसको कमेंट भी कर दूं तो भी तो ये प्रिंट होगा ही होगा।
यस मैम।
हाँ, बट ये मैं इसके बाद प्रिंट कर रही हूँ। आप कोई और स्टेटमेंट दे दो यहाँ पे, कोई और लॉजिक आप लगा सकते हो। यू कैन ऐड सम एनी लॉजिक आल्सो यू कैन पुट। इट्स नॉट अबाउट ओनली प्रिंटिंग अ नंबर और प्रिंटिंग अ वैल्यू और प्रिंटिंग अ मैसेज। एनी valid statement in Java program you can keep after if. I just for simplicity have taken the print message. Now there is one exception. Very good question.
Means
Now
if in previous code if we skip the else part and curly braces also, then it will print the good evening or good afternoon in this part.
yes, first statement will be evaluated.
Okay.
Whatever statement you write, it will be evaluated. But there is one exception. I am again telling you there is one exception which I will tell you shortly. Okay? What is your name? What is your name? Yes, who was asking the doubt? I want to know.
Sahil.
Sahil. Okay, so Sahil, I will tell you one exception that we have in this. Okay, first, let's move on to the second case. So this is valid, no problem at all. If I write if true or if false, anything, this, will it give error or not?
Yes, it will give error.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What error it will give? What is the problem with this?
No ma'am. It will not.
No, ma'am.
Semicolon.
Semicolon.
No, ma'am.
Semicolon, ma'am.
But okay, I'm not interested in executing anything. Sometimes we have lots of time to study, but we just waste that time. I don't want to do anything. That's my time, my life, my rules. Same happens with compiler also. My life, my rules. It is completely valid. And these type of statements are called as empty statements. What are they called as? Empty statements. Okay, this is completely valid. I will execute and show you. Can you see any error?
No, ma'am.
No. So
No,
it is
ma'am.
so it is compiling fine. As we are not performing anything, no output is being shown, but the compiler is completely okay with it. Okay, the such statements are called as empty statements. Now, next thing that I want to tell you is one more case. Are you noting down all the things in your notebooks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next is if true. And here I am doing this int x is equal to. Okay. Is it valid?
Yes ma'am.
Else,
Yes, ma'am. Is it valid?
else part is skipped, no problem. Okay. But I have written the if part and the curly braces are also there. And what I am doing, I have declared one local variable x and I am giving it some initial value 10. Okay. Let's execute it. Okay, no problem. Compiler is fine. Now, if I remove this curly braces and I will write if true, int x is equal to 10. Now, what about this piece of code?
Ma'am, error.
What type of error? Why error is there?
No
We
ma'am.
can
Then
Says
it's
are not-
valid ma'am.
It's valid or invalid?
Valid ma'am.
It is completely valid now. You only told me na that else is optional and curly braces are also optional. Tell me. Else is optional, curly braces are optional. So what I have done in that code? I have just skipped curly braces and I have skipped else also. Is it true? Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Abhishek.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Ma'am, it's not.
Yes,
Sahil,
ma'am.
why it is not correct and why it is correct? One
Ma'am,
candidate from both teams.
Ma'am, it's correct.
Syntax.
Yes, tell me why it is correct.
Because of curly braces.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Without curly braces, only one statement is valid. Without curly braces, only one statement is valid, and that should not be declarative statement. Akash was correct. That should not be declarative statement. So the point here is, the conclusion here is, without curly braces and without having else part also, the if statement is completely fine. It's completely valid to skip the else part and to skip the curly braces also. But the point to be noted here is, without curly braces, only one statement is valid. That is just immediately after the if statement, and that statement should not be a declarative statement. And we are declaring here. It's a declarative statement. We are declaring. So this is invalid. Declarative statements are not allowed. Okay? Am I clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so Akash gave very good answer. Now one more case is there. I will write the code, you tell me the output. If we have something like this, if true, again, if true, and then we have something over here, system.out.println, and then we have some message here. Hi kids. And then we have something called as else here. And again, I am printing some message. System.out.println. Hi, engineers. Okay. So what we are doing? Eh?
Study.
We have
Nested if else.
so we have two if statements, but only one else statement. Now tell me, this else belongs to which if?
The second one.
Second one, ma'am.
Second one. Second one or first one? First if or second if?
Second.
Second, ma'am.
Second.
Why? What is the
We
reason?
can't say without curly braces, I guess.
Don't guess. Here it is just a printing statement. Na? If I put curly braces also, no problem. If I skip curly braces also, no problem. Okay? Is it fine?
Ma'am, but if you put curly braces, then it will show the else statement comes to which if.
Nothing related to curly braces involved here. Okay. Now tell me, what is the output? Error, compile time error, hello, hi, or nothing?
Hi, kids.
Hi, kids. Okay. So,
Hi, kids.
Hi, kids.
Hi kids.
Hi, kids, ma'am.
Hi kids. If I make it false, then what should be the output?
High engineers.
High engineers.
And the output should be
High
high,
engineers.
high engineers. So the concept that is explained here is else belongs to the if that is closest to it, nearest if. Okay, so here we are having two ifs, this one and this one. Which one is closer to this else?
Second.
Second if.
This one. So every time you will get some output based question in your MCQ exam, you have to observe the piece of code that is given in the question, and you have to see that the else will belong to the nearest if. The else will belong to the nearest if. So this else is nearest to this if. Okay, so we always have to proceed in this way. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please note down in your notebooks. When we are using nested if else statement in Java program, this is applicable for all languages. Okay, when we are using nested if else statement in Java programs, then the else part belongs to the nearest if block. The else block belongs to the nearest if block. Okay. So what you have to do today is, tomorrow is Saturday and then you have Sunday. 2 very good days. Okay, it's a weekend for the world, but if some students are in final years now, then it is not a weekend. Am I clear? If you are in final year, then there is nothing like weekend. Every day is same, because you have to spend same number of hours on studies. No weekend, nothing. Once you get placed, and then enjoy your weekends. So what you have to do today is, you will go home and you will solve all the questions, MCQ based questions from the topics that we have covered in 1 week. Today we are completing 1 week of our training. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Today we are completing 7 days of training. I utilize your time, don't waste your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, who is this?
Ma'am, this is the available Adarsh.
Yes, Adarsh.
Ma'am, I won't be able to attend Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday since I have an operation scheduled on Tuesday. But
Okay.